Alrighty, welcome everybody. We got another unofficial night of repairs, doing unofficial Max boards, challenge boards that he sent me to try and actually give me a chance to fix something for a change in life. Holy dooly, I just realised this one's been delightfully UV greened with wire, and wow, that's quite an intricate repair on that one. That's kind of terrifying me. Maybe I'll dodge that one, but I have a feeling that Jason wants this one done, so we'll see. He'll probably turn up sooner or later. Good evening to everybody. Welcome back to all those who are usually here, and if you're new, welcome. Sit back, try not get too worried, and become a backseat repair person that I'll dutifully ignore, as usual. Hopefully we won't be doing any blowing up today. Let's see, that first one please. What, the first one? We're talking about this one. Let's see, we've got 3, 4 and 6 left here. We've already done the others. Hey, full wave. I'm just going to check the phone to see if I've had a reply. You may have gone to sleep already. I do recall there being a mention about this one here, which has the wire on it, so I suspect that may have to be the one I chase. I've already sent off the other ones today. Oh joy, my camera switcher is not switching. Is that because I've done something? Let's see if it switches over. Swing back. Okay. Give it a second or two. Swing across. Yay! Okay, the switch is all good. Alright, yeah. Okay, so this has been heavily reworked. Seems like we've got a fairly hefty wire going across everything. Yeah, I almost feel like I should have thrown this into the ultrasonic, but well, that's not an option. I guess we'll plug it in and try and find out what's wrong with it. Now I've got to find a 1502 style MagSafe connector. Let's see, I should have a few of them around, but having them around doesn't mean that I've actually got access to them. More often than not, it means I've misplaced it somewhere. Okay, I've got a 1398 series. That's no good to me. Okay, and it should have them in another workshop, the other workshop room, but we're going to see if we can find them here. Come on now. Come on. Show me that you still like me today. Come on, universe. Be nice. Let's see, what are you? 1466, 1278, 1398. You can see a pattern developing here. So I haven't had a chance to finish organising all my stuff as per usual. So subsequently stuff is still scattered all over the place. No, your iPhone connections. Aha. This looks promising. Hey Jason, welcome. Jason, is it the wire one that you want me to look at first? Okay, let's see, Travis. You think the Mac Studio that the hard drive space is determined by resistors like the memory, raw storage? Oh, I haven't actually caught up with any of that business. I see there's some dramas going on there, but I'm not really sure about anything there. if you'd like to punish yourself. Okay, do you have a preference, Jason, for which one to tackle? Because I know that you mentioned about this one earlier, and so I thought, those are, you wanted it done, or at least looked at. Can you give me a symptom rundown? I guess we'll find out. Seems like there's been a fair bit of rework on it. Getting that wire across. What do I want? I want a chipmunk. Just a fun one. Ah, right, okay. And by fun you mean torturous. Fair enough. Eric, Paul, Catherine, Travis, a B-Dog. Okay, here we go. Current's a little low. It's only pulling 470 instead of... That's kind of unusual that the fan is up and spinning. It shouldn't normally happen so quickly. I think this is a 4924, I should have checked. If it's a 4924 and that started spinning, then we've got a sensor problem. Oh no, it's a 3536. Damn it. I was kind of hoping it was going to be a 4924, and then that would give us a pretty quick and easy idea of where some issues may be lying. But we're not getting a CPU boot. We are getting warmth in the CPU, but we're not actually getting activity. So it kind of makes me wonder whether we've got a dead CPU here. It was a lightning strike. Oh, joy. Oh, there's 3 beeps. Right, explains why the RAM is reflowed. So the CPU resistances seem good. Yeah, so no trouble there. It is getting warm, but okay, so we may have maybe a sad case of still dead PCH or something. Hey, Michael Tritz. Kind of looks like the same sort of CPU they have on the 1466s. So you say a lightning strike, eh? And I see you've reflowed the RAM. If we're getting 3 beeps out of it, then yeah, it's probably a sad tale on that one. Patrick Miller. You see the mail about the magnetic mini stencils? I don't believe I have. I have been looking at them. I've been all over AliExpress a few times, digging around. It's the whole expenditure thing. I've got other things I should be... Well, okay, interesting. We've just found what looks like a vaporized trace. Unless this was just a random pickup from someone's bench. Could have been my bench, or could have been Jason's bench. But that looks distinctly like a very vaporized trace. But, like I said, it could be from a very different board and just simply got picked up by the flux from Jason's bench. That sort of damage would usually be fairly visible. Okay, the dreaded UV cure. That this is the problem I have myself with UV cure, is it can be very difficult at times to get it to fully cure. So you sort of got to go in really thin layers, bit by bit. It's very frustrating. That's why I'm trying to find a nice alternative like air-cured silicon or something like that. The traces from where the wire has been run. Okay, so this is more cured. This, yeah, that's more solid. I'm gonna assume that this got rushed out. Oh, have you got the little like torch-looking one? Even I still struggle a little bit with that, but hopefully it's better for you. I think one of those nail UV nail curing beds is probably the best thing we can try. I need to get myself one. Or something. Yeah, it just needs to be more powerful. Or just the good old Australian sun. If I leave it outside for 30 seconds, it'll probably cure it. I'm just rubbing this off and letting it drain onto the paper towel. Just so I can get an idea of what I'm looking at around here. Same with the flux. Hey, Thomas. So this was... Okay, so this is a lightning strike, you say, Jason? And it took out the traces here? It's scary stuff. Okay, it looks like I'm going to do a little bit more washing here to get this free. Oh, Jason, I can send you a couple of tubes of the stuff I've got, if you want, but it's probably different to what you're wanting to use. Yeah, flux is one of those somewhat personal choices. You know, people have different preferences on what kind of flux they use based on how they anticipate their style of repairs to go. That's a lot of green. That's some really close-fitting wires there. So what is this, a 51916 chip? Oof, you can see that balling up there. Is that the damage from the lightning? That's scary. I'd say it's probably got an internal damage at that rate. So what board did we say this was? 30 what? 35, 36. Ah, creature. Toothbrush works just fine. Don't need a conductive brush. Okay, we're just going to get Flexboard View up. Hey, Dinamras. What's this? A1389 is the one that is slow and choppy. A1389? You mean A1398? Depends on the model. Some of them can be like that, some won't. I think the 4924 is like that. I guess the thing is, just plug it in and find out. That's not very useful, I know, I'm sorry. Okie dokie dokie doke. So let's see, what chip are we dealing with here? Between the SMC and the NAND. What? There's no way that's that chip. Ah, there we go, U7400. Right, okay, so that explains why you're getting the 3 beeps, yeah, because something terrible happened here. Okay, well, I hate to undo your work, but often when you do get these scenarios, sometimes, you know, you do have to just go back, start from scratch and try again. Center phone pit, I'll have to have a look in a bit. So basically this is the regulator for the RAM. Oh, that was just a free floater, that one. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the auto switcher doesn't kick in on this. It's the only weak point I have is when I go to schematics, there's no indication for OBS to know when to switch back. At least not yet. I've conceptualized a few things, but I haven't really gotten around to actually implementing any of those concepts. Too busy fixing stuff. That's a hellish situation here. Alright. Jason's going to yell at me now, but I'm actually going to remove this large blob just so I can get we need something as easy to apply as hot glue that is as tough as... we basically just need that air cure silicon RTC or whatever it is. It's quite hard to remove this at the moment. It's quite stubborn. Basically, I just want to go back to clean slate and try again. I'll probably end up with a solution even worse. I might leave that one there though. I will say this much, it's a nicer board to work on than what I was working on earlier today. I had a liquid damage. I just realised that's the call of Micro. So I'm just going to go give Micro his shot and I'll be back. Oh, what the hell is that? Sorry, I'm just walked past a computer and I'm like, what the hell is this computer? 1198. Yeah. Alright. Alright, it's always a concern when you go past a computer and you look at it and you go, what the heck's wrong with that? And then you realise it's an old job and you're like, why haven't I even checked that job recently? What is going on? Joys of memory. Okay. Oh, sorry, does the wireless mic make horrible noises when I'm out of range or something? Or is it okay? Because I know Lewis had a wireless mic that as soon as it went out of range, it was the most horrendous static noise. And if that is the case, then I can just simply mute it. Joys of getting old. Yeah. Old and needing a better organisation system. That's more my problem here than anything else, is that the rate of jobs that have been coming in has picked up quite a bit, and subsequently I need to have more holding slots, more processing slots, and well, the outbound slots not so much, but certainly more holding and processing slots I need. Oh, right, okay, you get the intermittent startup sort of reconnects. Got it. Yep. Well, that was crazy. That was back and forth then, like a crazy, yeah, head wobbler. Okay, so we've got, let's see, we've got 2 traces gone. One of them seems to obviously be a power trace. I'm just going to get rid of you. I'm sorry. Let's get you out of the way, that is. I must admit, I do quite enjoy this kind of work. Okay, so we do actually have a veer there. Or did we? No, that wasn't a... Wait, maybe, yes? I don't know. I quite enjoy this kind of type of work. Recovery from disaster sort of thing. Reconstruction work. I've noticed that right from a young age, I would encounter model aircraft that had been smashed or had a failure or something like that, and I seem to rather enjoy the challenge of reforming all the broken components to get back to a working flying machine. Could not get a well, we could reinforce it vertically and get more layers in. Okay, so I'm just... So this is where you can see that the UV cover stuff really works well. Those thinner layers, and it forms a nice solid protective effect. I find nothing wrong with hot glue myself. I'm savvy. By the way, nice to see someone from South Africa. It all depends on how you apply it, where you're applying it. Yeah, that's all comes down to context. You do get people who like to just blanket, make blanket statements about the usability of a substance for a task. Just trying to work out what this... Well, I suppose what we should really do is find out what is expected on that rail. I'm going to guess it's a pretty hefty... It's going to be a pretty hefty rail. So it is... Which one is it? Ah, great. Yeah. Alright, so we're kind of lucky here. It's actually the gate drive for the MOSFET, so there won't be a lot of current on it, and subsequently we can sort of get away with thinner wire. If it was one of these, of course we'd have no choice but to use thicker wire, but because it's a gate drive, it's not too bad. I mean, ideally we don't want to have too much resistance in there, because even though it's not a lot of power, I should rather say, the instantaneous current is moderately high, because there's the capacitor here. The gate effectively is a capacitor, and you are very rapidly charging and discharging that capacitor in short bursts. So you want to minimize that as much as you can, the resistance on the line, but at the same time you can use the thinner wire and you get away with it simply because the effective heating from the high current, because it's such a low duty cycle, and it doesn't, the wire itself can cope. Is that I'm just going to knock that off. That's kind of looking like it's going to cause trouble. Oh, crap me. Jason, that's pretty normal with a lot of videos. It's not how right you are, it's just present the information that, it's the luck of the draw, really. You can get people who put 2 videos up. Their first video is a viral hit, and they're an overnight YouTube success. Although that is moderately rare. DD-Reg LL. What the hell is DD-Reg LL? Okay, DD-Reg LL is it's a feedback in effect, and also helps with the gate boost drive. Alright, so both of them can get away with being, I'd say 0.1 wire will suffice. We're just turning it upside down to match the view on the camera. Oh, that is a major pain in the backside. That's the... I suppose the point here is that it goes down into the board. This trace goes down into the board straight over to the gate. Now, given the structure of this MOSFET, I would hazard to say that we should actually be able to find that trace somewhere. I'm just trying to work out whether it's going to snake off to this side or snake off to that side. And LL, at least we can go straight to that cap, so that's fine. One thing I can do is, I was going to say, I could always take one of these boards that I have as a donor and strip it down. I'd peel the layers back and have a look, see where it goes. That's something I often do. Because it's taunting me, it's showing me something down there, but I don't know if it's what I'm supposed to be looking at. There's a bit here, but that genuinely looks more like something I'm not supposed to touch. Okay, and this is probably ground. Well, it's hard to say. We'll see. Just gotta be careful. I don't want to scrape back more than what I have to. I mean, for all I know, it might be the gate drive. But usually the layer below most things, I would say what's happened here, this is ground, and the trace itself would have went down into this pit here. So there may be a stalk I can get a hold of. So I'm just going to check for ground. Yeah, that's ground. No two ways about it. Now, I'm not worried about exposing ground here because we can always fill it up. Like Jason's already filled it up in the past because he was doing the same job. I'm just trying to be a little bit naughty and trying to find my trace by digging back a bit more. But it may well be that it's actually vaporized all the way through, which Jason's probably going to be yelling at me saying yes, it already has. Okay, we've got some charring here. Okay, and which means we're going to have to actually see how it's all soggy. Yeah, that's... Oh, yeah. Oh, right, this is more... Oh, this is actually a great big hole. Oh, yeah, that's a great big burned out hole. Yeah, and unfortunately that all has to come out. It's like a tooth. We'll go full. That's a colossal sized cavity. You see how I'm pulling out all this black junk? It's pretty much the demise of the board, I'm afraid, in most with this sort of thing. You ever watched things like Dr. Pimple Popper or whatever when they clear out an abscess and they really just have to keep digging and digging within the abscess itself to clear out all the nastiness that's in there? It's unfortunately what we're dealing with here. Yeah, the cap will be moving because it's basically resting on nothing. See, the whole thing is, it's floating on, it's like termites have gotten in there. Yep, there we go. There's a whopping great big hole. If I was a dentist, I'd probably be telling my victim that, well, we're going to have to take that tooth. I would say it's gone through all the layers, or pretty damn close to all the layers. And that's fine. If it has, that's fine. As long as it hasn't interacted with any other... We're definitely going to cut this off here. We can still make a connection. We just put the cap like across here or across here and then run a wire to here. but we definitely have to clear out all this carbon because it will be unpredictably conductive. That's basically the problem. But this actually feels like it's gone right through and has, if I push through that, it'll punch a hole through where that MOSFET is on the other side. That's very messy. Alright, at this point, given how severe it is, I'm just going to lift this up. My guess is it's probably going to pop up under one of these caps. If we can get a clean hole, then we might actually be able to just pass the wire through the hole. But I need to remove those caps first. Ah, Jason, unfortunately, don't have an argon laser. Maybe we could use an infrared laser or something like that and just burn it through. Clear the way. Trying real hard not to upset these tantrum caps. They do like to chuck their hissy fits. Put a little mark on the solder there and it'll give me an idea of when it's ready to melt. Wow, it's really holding off. One. There we go. You can already see that that trace has got distinct marks of being burned. It's probably just a thin shell. It certainly is detached already from the board. I can see that. See, it's not even there. There we go. And there is the doorway to the other side. Straight through. What a mess. Okay, we just cut that off. No point in it hanging around like that. And I'm going to carve back a little here. Now we're really hoping that we don't encounter any sort of data traces. Because if we do, then, well, that's the end of the game. But in all honesty, with this sort of damage, it's pretty rare to get a win. And occasionally you do, but it's not the norm to get a win for this sort of thing. Yeah, just a little spiky stick. Basically, I'm just relying on the wood to be a slightly softer, sort of abrasive tool to help clear back some of that carbon. Where is it? I'm blind. Oh, there it is. Well, I gotta say, it is actually looking pretty good now. So now what we're mostly relying on, or hoping for, is that we didn't have any sort of secondary traces taken out. And of course we're hoping that we don't have destroyed chips in general. So we'll now just scratch back that trace a bit. And then we can attach to that. Ooh, okay, so we've got the approval for destruction if required. By the way, Jason, I have several of these boards here if you need one. Or at least I think I have. There was that batch of 22 that I got from my board supplier locally, so I'm pretty sure I've got one that might suit the job. Alright, so we need some 0.1, I'd say. It's still a little bit thick, but I kind of want to use it simply so that it's got the strength on the enamel. I'm going to find the start of my wire here. Ah, there it is. It's fairly absurdly thin compared to the hole, thankfully. Just cutting off a small portion. And by small portion I mean a portion that's way too long. Come on. No, you went all the way through. Damn you. It's frustrating. I didn't think I put through that much, but looks like I did. Alright, so now we've got to burn this enamel off. which is quite a bit harder on this particular wire. So I'm going to use my big iron. Okay, so we're going to secure it there, but then we're also going to take it up to the MOSFET itself. See if I can do that. Not sure if it's taking or not. Get out of here. Oh, it's one side done. And then we've really got a bit of a challenge here. Gonna need to clear that flux out. This is where like a little ultrasonic probe would be nice. I think what I'm going to have to do is heat up this whole region and then fill it in with UV cure, or maybe even hot. No, it has to be. Yeah. See, it's tricky because I want to protect it from the sides. Because even though it's insulated, just over time, it's going to rub up against that sort of stuff. Okay, that looks pretty clean to me. You're probably not quite seeing it as well as I can. I wonder if I can put a sheath over it. Yeah, I might get some point, not 0.3, but 32 gauge or 30 gauge wire and take its sheath. Ah, there it is. Yeah. It's massively oversized, but it might do the trick. Because I certainly don't have any heat shrink this small. Okay. So I've got this stuff. Zoom out a bit. See if this has any chance of working. Alright, so you can see it's protruding up there. That's nice. That's what we want to see. But at this point I've got a length issue, so I'm going to have to cut it down a little bit. Heat shrink's not going to be... There's no heat shrink that's this fine. But I'm just going to trim off the wire. retract this back. Cut it down to size and then put it back in. If I make a mistake, that's not a problem because I'll just get more. Though it is exceptionally tricky here. Because the problem is when you cut this stuff, even if you there we go, just got to remount that entrance a little bit so that it can get started. It's so fiddly. There we are, we've got it started, that's good. Still way too long. It does naturally shrink a little bit with the heat. Like when I start soldering, it will, you know, go back a bit, but it's not going to go back enough. So I'll just have to trim that back again. About half that. Yeah, I think that'll suffice. Okay, so now we can UV cure it. Should point out that it's highly likely that this is going to be a dead board anyway, but at least we're experimenting. I'll give that a bit of a wiggle down. And hopefully not break the wire. And we should be able to set our trace around about there. Now here comes the fun part. We've got to hold it down while we cure it. I am struggling to hold that properly. Lead Francis will be scraping back after the cure. It's easier to get a flat surface that way. I'm not willing to get a UV laser because accidents will happen, and I don't really care to have premature cataracts. So UV LED is the compromise I'm more than happy to make. Hey Yogesh. I prefer to UV cure as much as I can. I'm not really a great fan of the heat to cure outcomes. At least not for the thin stuff. I am going to have to heat though to get that core portion cured. So long as the top surface... Okay. And we're going to have to take a while because we need it to get right the way through the board. Hey Greg, morning. I think what I'll do with that other trace that needs to be put down, the one to the left of it, is I'll actually put the chip down and I keep changing my mind about how I'm going to do this. Part of the fun of it, I suppose. It's actually looking pretty good there. Yeah, it's come through nicely. It's protruded clear of the board, and it's going to be clear of the caps. I can put a blob of I'll probably put a blob of hot glue over that just to make sure it's well clear of those caps all the time. Hey Sonia, okay, yep, cool. You've obviously got my email address. I mean, it's on my website anyway. We recommend to prevent lightning damage. Well, it all depends on how it's getting it to you. Like in South Africa, they have these whopping great big lightning rod assemblies on top of their thatched roofed houses. You don't have that. Those things go up real quick in a very disastrous way. We used to have a big problem with them at the game parks. Yeah, every time, particularly up in the Highveld, every time the summer season would come along, spend so much time out there just dealing with damaged equipment from the lightning strikes. Hey, Kenny Whidden. There's a bit of softness in there, not happy about that. But unfortunately that's what happens when you're kind of up the creek. Now the problem I've got here is that I can't put this chip down flat. Which means, you know, this is going to cause troubles, particularly if it's not sitting flat on one of the high current pads. That's going to be a real problem. Oh, you lousy little... Right, yeah. Okay, so that didn't get down well enough. Alright, that's fine. We won't panic. We will utilize that to our advantage. I'm just going to scratch that back. Oh, great, except we've got a ground there. Alright. Yep. This is why I prefer things like hot glue, because it doesn't cavitate away like this UV cure can. Alright, so I'm just going to have to lift that up. I'm going to have to put UV cure down there. Cook the living daylights out of it. It's not how I wanted it to go, but it is how it's gone, so we shall follow its lead. See, if I don't fill in that cavity, then that gate drive output, particularly that it's the high side gate drive output, that will immediately short down onto the ground, because the gate drive output is going to be higher voltage than PV bus itself. It has to be higher voltage than PV bus because we're using an N-channel MOSFET to switch it, and subsequently it means you have to drive your gate higher than your drain, which is why we have high side drivers. Okay, you are the worst tweezers on the planet. Yep. I'm hoping that the layer of the UV will be thin enough that it'll actually cure. Well, Spatial Zebra, we've still got to hope that it actually does repair. You know, it could end up still being a dud. Textralian, no, it works for me, mate. The trick is to just not use thick layers. That's the problem. But this cures. I mean, could it be faster? Hell yeah. But it definitely does cure. But the problem is that the layers, you know, this stuff, it gets too thick. And this is really mushy though, I must admit. But that's... something else is playing it. Oh, yeah, what's going on? Oh, Milo. Big whingy bum.
At least if he just sees you.
Yeah.
Now, I'll go entertain him. But he had to see you. And he was just sitting in the room like...
Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, 1.5mm penetration sounds about right, which is about the maximum thickness you'd ever try to put the UV cure with this. So I guess, yeah, if you're meaning cure beyond that sort of depth, sure, I get your point. I usually try to keep my UV layers very thin. If it's going to go to a bulkier, sort of, yeah, a really deep UV layer, then I prefer to switch to a different kind of material, something like RTC or similar. Doesn't help when you've got 1.6mm in a dark hole right through the board. So yeah, a lot of that's going to stay liquid for a long time. A lot of it's sort of bobbling up because of the fact that, yeah, obviously as liquids get hot, they expand out. So I suppose we're kind of purging it out of the hole. Why not solder the chip? Solder the wire on top. Because we have. The problem is that the hole that we went through, it has multiple exposed ground planes in it, and even though the wire is enameled, I don't want to be relying entirely on the enamel to protect it. So we sheathed it, which in itself probably was a pretty good start. What I probably could have done is actually carve back at least the top ground layer, but yeah, I didn't do that. Alright, this thing is just going to have to go through an ugly process of me putting the chip down and letting the reflow actually help harden that up. And yeah, as Creature says, the alcohol embedded into the layers doesn't help either. Okie dokie. Oh, this is a frickin' mess. wrong tool. I'm deliberately puffing up the pads a little more. Those little SOBs want to be bridged though, that's annoying. Okay. Alright, I need to get a donor chip. What was that? 3536. I'm sure quite a lot of other boards use that chip. That looks incredibly familiar. AWCR, welcome. Jason, they'll come afterwards. I'm going to do that after the installation of the chip. Okay. Go diode mode on the meter. No, Erica and Lewis have long since split. They've gone, well, when I say split, they've gone their own ways. So, at least publicly, it's amicable, so I think we best leave it at that. 227. So that means that both sides are connected. That's good. That's what we want. And the nice thing is it's not ground, because if it was ground it'd be like 0. Alright, so we've done the hardest portion. Now we have to do that one more trace. And what I think we'll do is, I'm not usually a person who will change the way that a part lays on a board. I try to retain the orientations according to the original. We're kind of going to have to diagonally install this one. It just makes it easier. Oh yeah, a lot of people liked Erica. I guess, you know, these things happen. They seem to get along quite well, but I suspect, you know, I'm sure they have their reasons. And I guess that's between them. So yeah, I'm going to place this cap like that. At least you can still, you know, if you want to follow Erica, she does have her YouTube channel. Yeah, that's not exactly the prettiest of installations, but it's a good start. Okay, so now we've got to run a wire from this middle pin here over to here. So I'm pretty sure that's where, or is it from here to here? Oh, well, I think it's from here to here. Let's check out the other board. This is a donor board. Ah, right, yeah, it's from this point here to that middle trace. Now, since this is more of a mostly a sense line, we will. I'm gonna use. It's a pretty thick damn one. Oh, I'm gonna use the 0.1. So many changes of opinion in my head. That is a wire, right? It's not my hair. That's my hair, damn it. He tried soldering my hair to the board. That would have been disgusting. Right, that's more like wire. Gee whiz. Teresa, I would suspect the same as well, yes. I mean, there's always, you know, there are obviously people are just genuinely concerned. You know, it was a part of our social circle, as it were. At least, I suppose, it's better to be asking here, at least for the basic answer, than to harass Lewis or Erica about it. I'm actually going to try and do a whole length of wire here. This is what I hate about a lot of enameled wire, is it can be very frustrating getting enough of that enamel off. On both sides, or I should say on all around, because sometimes you can end up taking a top portion of the enamel off, but what you don't realise is that there's still the bottom portion present. Okay. Now for the fun and games, I might tilt this board up ever so slightly to give me a better angle. Hey Steve K, yeah, we're just drilling holes and boards. And probably it's going to end up being a non-success, but we're doing it anyway because, well, that's what we do. Damn it. You're in the perfect position and then you moved. Try to stick some solder onto the actual outer pad there. Alright. I consider that to be tolerable. Perfect? No, but tolerable maybe. Just need to get that joint flowed a bit better. That's better. B-Dog, you don't know. It's the luck of the draw. You don't really find out until you try to power up. Okay, in theory, this might work. In reality, it's not going to work. Oh, almost forgot. Need to put those two caps back on. That would have been unfortunate. Okay, positive towards the MOSFET. Is it Cinevision or... it's Cinevision or Pink Cine or something? I'm not sure. Other way around, Paul. Don't need to botch it up with a back to front mistake like that. Oh, really? Where does all this crap come from that ends up on my tips? Okay, I'm going to check Diode Mode again to make sure that we do in fact have 0.2 or whatever. I can't remember. What was it? Okay, 0.39, that's dropped a lot. 0.4, might be because it's hot. Hopefully it's because it's hot. Alright, they're both the same, so that's what matters. Phew. Well, is Lewis running an AMA stream at the moment? I do not believe he cleared that with me before doing so. Well, guess I can't stop him doing what he wants to do. Well, I'm not going to be able to hear the 3 beats because I do not have a speaker attached, but the chipmunk will identify. Yeah, if we get the green lights blinking on the chipmunk, then we know we have a win. If we don't, then we know we're still just as bad off as what we were. Well, we're no worse than what we were. Current is up. Current is higher at the moment, so that's a good sign. So we're just waiting for the green blinks. Come on, give me green blinks. I could do with that. It'd be nice. You're not going to give me green blinks, are you? Definitely higher current. But still no green blinks. So I would say that we have got the RAM up and running again, but I suspect that whatever took out the RAM probably took out a bunch of other stuff as well. That would be my guess. So I'd consider this a dead board, unfortunately. Because yeah, I mean, we're drawing an amp. So, as a precaution though, I might see if I can hook this up to a screen on the possibility that maybe, what if that USB port's blown or something? It's a very slim possibility, but you never know. Now the other problem is I don't know if this one's going to work or not. Oh wait, this is 1398. We want 1502 screens. Not as common for me to have such. I'll just go to the other workshop. Okay. Where are you? 1502s. Okay, you look like 1502s. That's 2015, that's not going to cut it. I've got a screen here, but I don't know if it's actually the right model. Oh wow, I've got a board in here. Why have I got a board in here? Well, I've grabbed 2 devices. I don't know if they're going to be any good. Hey Milo, you're not allowed to come in. I'm sorry, buddy. Probably would help if I plugged a speaker in to see if I could hear it going beep, beep, beep. Kind of seems like a cheat's way. Come on, get in there. Thank you. I don't even know if the screen's the right one. There's weird sort of backlight versus... there's weird issues that with the 1502s and the 1398s in terms of screen compatibilities. Some will let you have backlight, some will not work at all. Some work fine, some don't give you brightness adjustment. Yeah, it's all over the place. Yeah, I might have to resort to actually plugging a speaker in. It's going to be sad. What a sad way to go. What the hell? I got like a perfect 1502 here. Oh, look at this thing. It's seemingly immaculate and it's just sitting in my junk box. There's got to be a reason for it to be in there. Okay, so it's getting hot and upset, but it's still not blinking. It's definitely CPU's getting hot. Alright, speaker time. Fine, be like that. Let's see, what do we got? Hopefully it will emit noise out of either both speakers or the speaker I'm about to connect up. Definitely the CPU is getting hot, so it's like the CPU wants to live. Right, tell me you're the wrong board without telling me. You know, you're good. Now you're probably going to be able to hear the speakers more than I can, so let me know. Oh no, I can hear that one. Oh, sad existence. Okay, is there something I missed maybe? I'm just going to compare the diode mode values. What the hell? You're not even a screw that I use for MacBooks. Okay. .59. It's not out of the ordinary compared to what we were getting on the other one, which I think was about 0.48, 0.5. That's for the gate drive. Looks like this is the same board. Oh no, this is a 3476. Okay, so not the same board. Anyway, the point is that the gate drive out of that seems to be okay. Let's see what voltages we get for the RAM. So we want 1V35 on random coil. Oh, I love it when these things... this is not a matching board view. 35, 36... Maybe I'm just not... Oh yeah, wait, no, I'm wrong. Yep, cool. Okay, so we want 1.35 or so, around about there. Just to start with. Let's see, voltage mode. Come on, get those fingers around, Paul. Twist them, buddy. What? Get the hell out of here. That's more like it. Oops. Knocking stuff down. Getting late. So we got 1.36, so we definitely have voltage there, so that's a good start. It could be that the RAMs themselves have all been destroyed, and given the number of RAMs there, I'm not really quite willing to change them. Let's try these. Okay, the 135 we've got. 0.675. Which naturally is all on the other side. Check pin 3 of the IC. Why pin 3? And which IC are you referring to? Because, yeah, pin 3 is ground on the MOSFET. Oh, you're talking about the actual controller. U7400. 0.675. Oh, right, now I see what you're saying, yeah. Okay, that fan's going bonkers. I wasn't sure what you were referring to at that point. This is a terrible angle to do it, Paul. Yeah, 675's there. A VREF should probably be right, because I'd imagine if the VREF was wrong, then the other voltages would be wrong. Oh no, we do not appear to have VREF. That's weird. That's because we've shut down. Can I inject unregulated supply from the power pole? Probably not. Oh god, so... No, we don't have... Yeah, every time I touch that 1.8, it has a hissy fit. Oh wait, I was touching 0.6... What was I touching? That's great, I don't even know what I was touching. Yeah, 1.8's there. Alright, I'm going to say that the RAM is buggered because the regulator's all good now. We're definitely generating the required voltages. Bugger. So we fixed up that hole and everything, but unfortunately I'd say the RAM is stuffed. And the problem here is that there's 16, was it 8? Oh, there's 8 chips. It's a bit much for a board this size. Like I said, I've probably got a board like that in my stash somewhere if I can just find my stash. Here we go. Hey there, stash. So these are the ones that I got from the supplier. 4924. Ugh. How annoying getting one of the high-end ones. 4924. Seriously? 3536, would you look at that? We've actually got a 3536 that could be a drop-in. 2.4, oh, it's a lousy 4 gig unit. Well, that sucks. Check the RAM thermal, you might, yeah. And this is a 2.44 as well. Okay, so I actually do have a replacement board if you need one, Jason. But, well, to be fair, I don't know if this works. Let's have a look, see if we can make this one work. Actually, you know what? I'll put that on top of Jason's board, and we'll tackle it later. We've got another 1502 here. And this 1502 looks fun too. So which model are we? Oh, we've got another 3536. Okay, so Jason's actually sent 2 3536s. What be the fault with this one? So we'll power it up and try and find out. I can't really blow it up, Jason. The trouble is I've got nothing to really, you know, no way to really violently explode it. No nice way, anyway. See what we got with this one. Nada Zilch 29. Probably got a dead SMC on this one. Okay. Was that Mo? Momo, was that you? It was you. Come on. Just don't... Come here, come here, come here, come here, come here. Don't lick up the solder balls. They're bad for you. Oof. Nah. Come on, buddy. Can you just settle down? Yeah, let's see you go face. Come on. I don't know what you're doing. What you up to? Yeah? They're just working in here. Ready to go out? Yep. Alright, come on. Yep, and crikey. That's how we get cat hair in the workshop. Yes, his real name is Milo, but of course, as per most real names, you end up replacing them with a different name. So officially Milo, unofficially Momo. See, the problem was that, of course, we have Micro, and from a cat's perspective, Micro and Milo are probably a little bit too close. So, yeah. Okay, so what do we got? We got the TPS that's been replaced here, so 5 volt and 3, not 5 volt, CPU voltages there. That's kind of scary. Guess we should check the CPU resistances. Make sure that we don't have a blow through. '63, that's pretty good actually. It's a bit of an older model. Well, can't complain about that being a major short if there is one. So yeah, I would, let's see, do we actually... Alright, we do get proper behavior there. So 3V42 should be okay, and SMC should be okay, but we're going to check those voltages just in case. And I've clicked I don't know why, but I have a thing of forgetting where my 342 is on these boards, even though it's right there. Any idea? A203332 3-beat problem? Yeah. I have had a couple of those and I've never fixed them myself. Sorry to say. That's kind of weird. Okay, notice it's 344, which is a little bit high. It's not badly high, but it is a little high. Okay. So we'll just keep that in mind. Okay, and where's our fuses? There we go. $17.98. Makes sense that that's good. This is the double fuse model. Okay, well, that looks like that's not down properly. That big inductor that we went past didn't look like it was sitting down properly. Oh, frickin' heck. Yeah, you kind of need that to be functional. That smashed little chip would prefer not to be smashed. Let's see what that is. It's this thing here, U2940. And unfortunately it's only a Thunderbolt 1V05. Oh well. I was hoping that would be it, but it's unlikely to be the cause. Sorry, I'm just going through the schematic at the moment, looking. So what am I looking for? F7005. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm actually feeling a bit stupid right now. PP bus G3 hot. Oh, every single damn time I forget. That resistor there tends to have it. Uh, 25 milliamp could be a multitude of things. So I'm just checking the fundamentals first. 12.6. Okay, so SMC is all good and everything like that. I'm just going to check RTC. Three v three. PP3v3 RTC G3 hot. That's U1900. Just up above the RAMs and the SMC. Right, oh there you are. Okay, that cap there, we're looking for 3v3 on that. Yeah, that's not a good sign. A reduced voltage on that line typically means your PCH has gone for a walkabout. Yeah, that's really not a good sign. Now, it could be this, but it's very unlikely because this is basically just a direct LDO. So I would say that the PCH is trucked. I'll just check diode mode, but yeah, it's most likely when you get that voltage sagging down, it's a trucked to PCH. .63 doesn't read like a dead one, but that doesn't mean squat. So like if we take Jason's board, the other one I mean, and check its diode mode and see what we get for that. .67, so they're not too dissimilar. Well, I can replace the clock chip. We'll see how we go. And I'm going to take that chip off as well, because even if it's not needed, it could be dragging something down. See, it's past midnight, getting past my bedtime. Stubborn little thing. It's clean enough, we don't have to bother doing anything more on that. I'll check that voltage again. But the fact that there's nothing coming up on the lights at 2.7 still. Hey, Daniel Laser. Well, yeah, I am a night owl, but there's also a bit of a wind down time I need. Okay, here's one idea we can try. What if the cap itself is problematic? No, it's not likely. But we'll just swap this chip and see what happens. Wait a second, you're not the normal... What? I just removed completely the wrong chip. That there was SMC manual reset. Why did you people let me do this? You people are idiots. That is the clock chip. God damn you people. And you call yourself backseat drivers? Useless. I thought it looked funny because I was thinking, you know, there should be... It's a QFN, so... Why do I not see solder pads around the other edges? And that's why, because it was the wrong damn chip. Well, I'm very glad I found that. Greg, you can use the bottle. Alright, let's try that again. Measuring the correct point. And as it is, we have a very bad voltage there, so... Oh wait, now we're up. 3.4. So that's actually quite overshot, to be honest. 343. That's definitely well above 3.3. That's pretty much out of spec. And I know people in the past have said, no, it's not too bad, but anyone who's watched long enough will know that we did have a bad one before and it was reading 3.4 or so. And swapping it fixed everything. No, this is 3v3. This line here, that should be 3v3 RTC, not 342. We already measured the 342 and it was 344, but that was the other chip. This is 3v3 RTC and it really should be 3v3. Yeah, maybe 3v32, maybe up to 3v33, but 3.4 is actually, really is getting too high. God damn it, so much excess solder there. We're actually going to steal back, we're going to use the chip from the dead board. I mean, Jason was going to explode it, but I'm actually going to donor drain it. Now, it could be slightly risky. There is a possibility this has been, because it's a lightning hit one, that this chip may also be dead, but sometimes just getting a different error lets you know you're on the right path. Oh. No. Really not a fan of these chips. Or I should rather say I'm not a fan of the way that Apple has set up the footprint for them, because they have no overhang. There's no pad excess outside of the chip itself. It's very tightly constrained compared to the other QFNs that you see around. So like if you say compare it to this one, see you've got distinct fillet, you know, the actual exposed pad comes out a fair bit, whereas compare it to this, there's basically nothing. We're still not getting a change of behavior there, but let's see if the voltage at least is better, yeah, it's complying better or not. No, that's still crazy high. Alright, so if that's crazy high, it means it's reference. Yeah. Okay, this is frustrating. It's frustrating because there really isn't anything to set V out. V out should be 3.3. So we get 342 in, and we should get, have I been measuring the wrong pin? No, I'll be measuring the right pin. I'm not sure why that would not be regulating properly. I mean, it's possible my meter is somehow knocked out of calibration, but I doubt that. Hey Nelson. Hey Joho. Yeah, Jim, sometimes one wonders if I haven't been handed sabotaged boards. Well, I can try replace this capacitor. It's about the only variable in there. Now, you see, if it was reading low, I could understand that. Yeah, basically, okay, the PCH is drawing too much power, the chip can't maintain compliance. But running high is a little bit weird. I don't know what the internal regulation model is. I'm guessing it's just an LDO or, you know, just an ordinary regulator, linear regulator. Yeah. In which case, you know, maybe we've got a line break between here and the PCH, and it's not able to regulate properly because there's no load on it. You know, some things do not enjoy not having a load on them, but usually LDOs or, you know, linear regulators don't usually suffer that issue. Switch mode can. Oh, for God's sake, come on. There we go. Oh, sorry. Nah. Anyway, chips. I just changed the cap, that's all. Nothing special. Well, nothing's changed since I replaced that cap, so I'm going to guess that it wasn't the problem. I'm going to guess we've still got 342, 343. Yeah, so basically it's not massively over, but yeah, it is. It's still a concern because most of the time these circuits, they do keep pretty tight control of that voltage. Alright, let's go to diode mode, see what the diode mode is up here, and then we're going to go to the PCH where this line goes and see if it's the same. So what have we got? 0.42. Schematics. Okay, so we've got a couple of banks of capacitors and a bunch of resistors here. Okay, so this set of resistors here, that's where it all goes into the PCH. So 0.42 it was, I think. Yeah, it looks about right. I'll measure the voltage as well at this point. Voltage ball, not diode mode. It's still too high in my opinion. Yeah, that's actually a good point there you're making. It's just the fact that we have 342 coming in and it's regulating to 3.3, although yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. You can get 100 millivolt LDOs. I'm genuinely confused there. Alright, we're going to leave that alone for the moment, but I have a suspicion that it's the fault. No, this will not be a resistor failing low situation because, like I said, there's nothing to control that voltage with that particular chip. It is what it is. Still, given that this chip here has been reworked, I am suspecting that the CPU or the PCH has been damaged because this is the one that controls the CPU voltages. So it would be my guess that that's been damaged. Because any time I've found myself in a situation, well, not any time, but many a time I have found myself in a situation where this chip has to be replaced, it's usually a dead CPU outcome every time. Okay, I shouldn't say every time. It shouldn't be so absolute. Many times. What the? 6259's obviously been replaced. I don't think that was a problem. See you, Travis. iPhone Touch, a lot of these are going to look like that, unfortunately. There's a great number of parts that are slightly devious like that. Resistor there. You know, they're everywhere, like this here. I have a feeling we're chasing a dead CPU here. It's just not dead in the usual I'm shorted dead situation. It's dead in my PCH crapped out dead. That would be my initial assessment at this point. Because like I said, I have encountered it before where when that TPS chip, but this inductor actually looks like it's about to come off. Okay, maybe not. Just kind of feels like it. And that MOSFET's not sitting down quite right. I think this might be one that's just sort of gone a little bit too far. And like I said, the fact that I'm getting 342 instead of 33 out of that RTC, and that sets off red flags for me. Because that really should be very tight on the 3.3 volt range. Can you check bat low? Sure thing. Just trying to find an appropriate place to get it. Okay. So that should be up here. Just here, I think. Oh, no. This one here. Nice. Doesn't have a flippin'... Does not have a... what do you call it? Exposed test pad. That's okay. See if we can get to it nonetheless. I'm having trouble getting to it. It seems to be stuck at 0. So might be thinking it has a low battery. But that shouldn't affect these boards. I mean, yeah, the lack of battery should not be affecting the board. And of course that naturally goes into the SMC. I am not going to chase this one anymore tonight. Trying to think, maybe the SMC. Well, we can pull the SMC and see if Batlow floats up. Let's see what the diode mode on that line is. 4.47. It seems fine on that end. I would sooner say the PCH, but let's well, the easiest one to take off is this, so we'll start with that, and if it's not that, we'll pull the SMC, and if it's not that, well then it's a bin job. Parts board, yeah, it could end up being that. Yeah. We'll see how we go. We'll see how we go. Trying to avoid melting all the connectors. Certainly my spidey sense says it's the PCH based on the RTC line, but we'll see. Well, it's not that one. Let's try the SMC. La 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 la. Let's try the SMC. La 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 la. I'm going insane. Be the nice stuff. Be the stuff that comes off in one blob. Close enough. Make sure I don't take out those resistors. Alright. Yeah, my experience thing sort of says if you have any sort of wiggles going on that 3v3 RTC line, either in terms of the diode mode being a bit off or the voltage being a bit off, and it's almost always the PCH. Almost. Now the big problem we've got here is if I take the SMC off, I don't really actually, it's not going to power up anyway. So I can't really prove this, that's the problem. And the fact that it is actually sitting on a diode mode of what was that, 4.5 or something like that, it means it's probably not something dragging it down through a fault directly. Oops. That was a little aggressive. Yeah, R14. You know what? I was an idiot. I really actually should check to see if I had 3v3 S5 at that point. Yeah, because if I didn't have 3v3 S5, then it's kind of all been stupidly done backwards here. You're misdirected by you idiots. Yeah, I'm just going to check, see if I get 3v3 S5. I'm pretty sure that's what comes off that TPS. Could have done all this for nothing, for no good reason, other than just being stupid. Yeah, I don't have 3v3 S5, but then that's probably because I no longer have an SMC. Idiot. Should check that before I took off the SMC. Ah, god damn it. I don't think anything was wrong with that SMC. I think I just took it off for no good reason at all. Yeah, Jason, I'll put it back really quickly. That's okay, we'll just do a quick reball. And get back to where we were. Yeah, the MBN was great. I think, yeah, the ALP had the right idea, but the trouble is they kind of shot themselves in the foot with it, particularly when they let Conroy go on and start ruining the public acceptance of the internet in general with the whole stupid firewall system that they wanted for the children. And then, of course, Labour being Labour, they really did not protect their policies. You know, they didn't defend it. They just sort of like went, oh, yeah, they're really weak-willed when it comes to protecting their good ideas or their ideas. And so Liberal just came along and said, we don't like this, and everyone's like, oh, well, okay, alright. And that was the end of that, you know. Labour really did not set up the NBN very well in terms of making sure that it got through properly. They didn't defend the costings, they didn't come back with why the ALP hybrid proposition was going to be a load of crap. They just let themselves get run over. And so yeah, I mean, I was very upset about that. No, Textralian I hadn't. It's late at night and I tend to get a little bit lazy with that, but that's okay. That's all good. We'll just have some fun, reball the SMC. Everybody loves an SMC. So yeah, I think if Conroy had shut his mouth and not done anything about that whole firewall bullshit, and then of course at the same time we were dealing with the oh no, we weren't dealing with the emissions tax at that point. Needs to say, it was a classic F-up of Labour producing plans for some infrastructure that was forward thinking and then not following through with defending it and making sure that, you know, they had bipartisan support for it and things like that. I mean, to be fair, the main reason ALP probably shut it down is because Murdoch was bitching and whining about the fact that his Foxtel network would be under threat. Because all of a sudden everybody's going to be able to watch TV over the internet. What am I going to do? I'm not going to be able to control the cable network. I'm going to lose all my money. And so, you know, Liberal being who they are, they just said, you know, when they looked up from waist height up at Murdoch, I said, alright, we'll fix that up for you. And then, of course, they paid Telstra, what, 2 or 3 times over for the same damn network and pit access. It was a frickin' comedy. It was an absolutely unbelievable, massive waste of money. And no one called him out on it, you know? No one with any sort of political clout called him out on it. Instead, just like, oh, okay. Yeah, you wasted a few extra, you know, $10-20 billion paying for things that the Australian public already had paid for. Alright. I don't know. Personally, that came pretty bloody close to treason in my opinion. They basically gutted Australia's future in many ways. So as you can tell, I am not a happy chappy about how that all went down. Yeah, and that's the other thing, is now everybody has switched over to the NBN for their TV, so it happened regardless, but now we've stuck with this bullshit that I can't even get proper 140 anymore. I am seriously considering when I get my workshop built that I'm going to get them to lay fibre from the node. Because fortunately it's not too far from me, it's only about 300 meters. So it shouldn't cost me too much, only half a leg or something like that. Okay, where the hell's my stencil? Oh, there it is, hiding. Yeah, nobody needs more than 20 feet. That's the other thing, that whole short-sightedness, and then the thing of wireless is going to replace everything. That's the other, you know, and Labour just let that fly. It was like there was no counter-campaign against the disinformation. The whole, oh, no one's, you know, wireless is going to be able to do everything. It's like, anyone who says that has no idea about how networking works, about why broadcast is not a good way of utilizing bandwidth, and yeah, the inherent implication, yeah, issues with it. I mean, it's a great solution for many things, but it's not as a, you know, not for this sort of task. If we'd gone with fibre to the property or the premises or whatever all the way through, it would have been done once. Sure, it might have cost 50 billion instead of 40 billion, but it still would have been cheaper than what we're dealing with today. And we're still going to have to rip it up anyway. That's the crazy thing, we still have to rip it up anyway. Whereas if we had gone fibre outright, we wouldn't be ripping that up for at least 30-40 years. But unfortunately, as usual, the people who don't know are the ones that are the loudest, and they somehow managed to override sanity. Very frustrating. Left me, and still leaves me, very disenchanted. I tried very hard to get on and correct people, or, you know, just give decent explanations about why those solutions were not going to be viable, or were not very forward thinking, or a waste of money. But unfortunately, it's very difficult. You can't win against that. Once someone's got their mind entrenched on something, it's no longer about research or anything like that. It's just about, it's tribalism. Yeah, it's team, pick a team, fight to the death for your team. Doesn't matter whether they're wrong or right, it's all about the team. Can't believe you just believe the media BS. What media BS? Labour screened blue murder, but the media wasn't on their side. Well, that's the problem. You see, that's what I'm saying, is Labour needs to do something about that, because that's what happens to them every damn time. And Labour knows that. They know, you know, they don't do anything about it. They just let it happen. If you can't get that message out, then you've got a problem and you need to solve that. And Labour's got that problem. They need to solve their getting the message out problem. Because every single time something's come up, okay, I shouldn't say every single time, things come up, they don't get their message out well enough. It's no point them screaming blue murder amongst themselves, much like I am doing right now. There's no point saying we scream blue murder. You've got to. Their job is to get out there and get their view heard, and they just don't do that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm currently more of a supporter of. I'm more of a left-leaning person than I am the right in general. But by the same token, if they let that crap happen, then someone's got to be accountable for that. Otherwise, we're just going to keep on ending up with what we keep ending up with, which is a bunch of crap that everyone complains about, but still keeps voting in the group that let it happen. Well, yeah, I mean, I agree. Okay, the evil, but we've had a few elections now where the media has been weakened in that respect, social media. But I've found that the libs just seem to do a better job of being more toxic out there. Maybe it's because ALP and whatnot try to fight the honourable fight. I'm really kind of doubting my own words there. But so far as politics go, but it's losing them elections. And it's like, I don't know, it's like, do you have to turn to the dark side to win an election? I don't get it. Either way, it's extremely frustrating to see it happen. Especially on massive infrastructure projects that could have such a big impact on Australia. Did I forget to clean? No, I swear I cleaned this. Alright. The problem here is we've got... What the hell? What's going on here? Have I got holes? Did they have balls in them and they spat them out or what? Didn't see any spit outs. Anyway. The corner ones are recessed because they're already reflowed. Hey Rilla. Needs to say, I mean, the Liberals are a real bunch of toxic SOBs right now. Oh, I shouldn't say right now. Yeah, they've really got that whole right to rule mentality. And I don't know, I still genuinely am thinking that even with this election coming up, they're going to just be returned to power. I really don't think that they're going to be displaced. Mostly because Albanese, seems like a perfectly normal, reasonable politician, but Australia just doesn't really know much about him. He doesn't have that charismatic pull. Like, I mean, Rudd, when he came out, I think his greatest moment before he was elected was when he addressed the Asian Economic Summit or whatever it was, and he just did it in he just spoke Mandarin directly, and that made a pretty impressive sort of thing, especially against little Johnny Howard. It was like Rudd was already saying, well, I'm going to be Prime Minister, so, and that was it. But since then we haven't really had anyone like that in the ALP. I know it shouldn't be down to personalities, but you can't deny that at the end of the day, people do vote based on that. Not everybody, but the trouble is it's enough. Enough people do it, and at the end of the day, that's how they keep winning. Oh, so close. I almost had a proper reball without having to do any of the crap that I've been having to do lately. Yeah, you can go down there. Thank you. I think where they won grinding down Rudd was the whole he's a oddity type character attack, and the fact that he would squawk and scream at, what was it, was the air hostess or something that he really got cracked up at. And he was a bit of a odd chap, but he did have good ideas. I liked his whole 2020 thing. Sadly, not a lot of that came to be. Alright, we've just reflowed that. That seems pretty good. And funnily enough, it did it my old way. I'm very happy about that. Well, creature, that is very true. Yes. The best people for the job are the people who don't want the job. And we see that right from, well, many levels, like being a moderator in a group or something like that. The best moderators are the ones that don't really want to be moderators. Did you watch Kevin run on Friendly Geordies? No, I did not. No, I don't watch that. I know of Friendly Geordies, actually funnily enough, only because of the drama that's going on at the moment with regards to Google, YouTube, and some Italian senator or something. I don't know. MP, was he? I can't remember. Ah, man, I just messed up all that. You can tell it's late. I'm doing dumb things and I'm saying dumb things. I should have gone to bed ages ago. Well, not gone to bed, but I should have stopped here ages ago. Where the hell's pin 1 on this? Put a magnet under the Synrock. Okay, any particular reason? Because I don't have a trouble with stencil holding down. That's not a problem at all. Funnily enough, it's not a lot of flux. Well, it wasn't. Now it's probably going to be too much and float away. Now that I've seen... Yeah, come on. You lousy little... Mother flipper. Right, clearly that is way too much flux going on down there. Welcome to why I don't do large amounts of flux like some people. And I'm just checking to make sure there's no hairs there. Because yeah, every time there's just that little bit too much flux, that's what happens for me. I get the whole sail away business. Sails away so much, and you would be proud. A555. Yeah, there's a few hairs around, but they're not actually on the book. My wife just checking on me from outside. Kind of wondering whether Tekken's finished downloading yet. It was like 70 gigabytes. Yay, that's more like it. Yep. Yeah, I generally try to keep a very minimal amount of flux when it comes to that SMC reball. In fact, most chips I don't like a lot of flux. Mortal Kombat 9. Well, I'll stick with Tekken for the moment because we've got a long history of Tekken. Been playing the Tekkens ever since PlayStation 1. So, you know, it's just natural for us to continue on. We're up to Tekken 7 now. Yeah, games on cassettes. Oh, more fun when you had to type in the games yourself. Yeah, alright. Okay, let's see if we got that beloved 5-volt 5v5s. What is it? Was it a 3v3s5 or something like that? Who knows? About to find out. The good news is at least the MagSafe came back up. And yeah, we do not have that voltage there, so that's our actual problem. Not the SMC. I mean, okay, I've got Batlow missing now because I took that part off, but we are going to tackle the true issue, which is this one here. Now, what is going on? Okay, pin 23. Let's do a quad view here. Just give you an idea of what I'm doing. Okay, pin 23, so we should just like that. Okay, so we've got 12.6, so that's good. Actually, I just might look at the caps. Okay, 5v5s5. We do not have 5v5s5. I can't remember whether that one gets explicitly enabled later. Where's my LDOs? Enable 2, pin 21. Well, we do have our enable. Power good is not likely to be. Let's see, SMC power, so pin 12. It's an itty bitty little thing. This one here. Okay, so the chip is being told to come up to power as far as I can tell. 22, see if we've got 3v3 on 22 and 13. No 3v3. Interesting. Don't know whether the chip's faulty or what. VREG 5, what's that, 29? Right, we don't even have VREG 5. Yeah, Alright, so we're not getting anything that we should be getting out of that. So I guess the first thing is we'll just yank that chip off. It's probably not going to be faulty, but we're yanking it off and replacing it as a first move blind move, as it were. Pin orientation correct? Yeah, pin orientation's good. There's a little bit of an absence of solder around the connections. That may not be anything particular. Okay. Just while it's still warm, because it is a fairly thick section of the board in terms of heat. It looks like we had some liquid damage down there. Someone forgot to turn on the extractor. Why is Nihil invisible here? What's he hiding from? He needs to just create another account. Preacher, have you seen or heard of Foxabillo lately? I did have him on Facebook, but I haven't seen him, any sort of activity out of him in quite a while. I'm never quite sure if he's still with us or not, because I know he has, he's got heart issues. Just cooling down the board a little bit. I expect zero change. Oh, no, we actually have lights up. So we had a bad TPS for that section. Ah, oh, now I haven't got a bat low, but that's okay. It's alive. We fixed the board. And we went about it the long way. We took the SMC off, had to put the SMC back on, now we've got to put bat low back on. That was a long way of doing things. I'm blaming Tex Australian. He grossly misled me with his suggestions. That's okay. It was just practice. SMC practice. Yeah, we need to get the bat low back on. Kind of helps if I prepare the pads first. And I guess that's a good example of why sometimes when it comes to reworking boards or dealing with boards that have been reworked, often it's good to just go along and redo whatever was done. The trouble is it can be very time consuming. See you, Tex Australian. I'm kind of curious to see whether this will work on the... Man, that is... Okay, that's number 4. It wasn't number 5, this was number 4. That's UM4. Let's see. We'll try if that screen that's free floating. I don't know if this screen even works, let alone if it's the right one for the task. We were supposed to get to the 1466 as well tonight, but I don't think that's going to happen. It's too late. I do have real things I'm supposed to do. Jason, you're up awfully late. Would have thought you would have crashed off to sleep by now. Oh, you've got a real job to get to tomorrow. So I don't even know if this is going to work, this screen. I should just check the backlight. Sometimes that's an indicator. I've got no backlight on that, so that means nothing to me. It could be a 2015 or it could be a dead. I can't see any activity there. The current looks wrong too. Okay, we'll try a different screen. Don't hurt your screens, Paul. So I won't bother with the boot stick, because at least when you get the flashing folder, it's something that's going to be in the center. You know you're going to be... it's something you can identify if you don't have a backlight. You can actually still look at the screen, say with a torch or whatever, and you can see that blinking folder even without the backlight. You know, it's not very obvious, especially on a Retina type screen, but if you're going to have any chance at all of finding something, then that's one possibility of finding it. Hey, iCraftcrafts, welcome. And certainly the CPU's alive, it's blinking the green on me, so that's good. This being a 300 series, you know, I would have thought it would be, you know, an earlier model screen. It should have been blinking folder by now. Damn it, can't see it. No, I don't have the right torch with me. Alright, there's another way. There's always a way. There's always a way. Of course, this does oh, I hate this. I hate that I can never know which way the Thunderbolt is supposed to be inserted, because the actual plugs themselves... Okay, it's got to be inverted. The sockets themselves, the physical socket, is not physically keyed. So you can actually insert that either way, and I don't know whether you're meant to be able to or not, but either way, the point is that I would just at least want to try and get that right. Okay, just plug in this screen so that it's on and ready. Okay, that looks like it's coming up. This may take a little while. Jason, I have actually found that with the UV, yes. I just didn't really feel like looking at the reflection of the UV. This should have switched over by now. So have we got a dead Thunderbolt or dead GPU? Who knows? Because yeah, I should have been getting the blinking folder by now. HDMI is in properly, and I've only been using it on HDMI lately, so yep, it's on HDMI. Yeah. Alright, not sure why we don't have a signal. And it won't be backlight. Yeah, this... Yeah, maybe the GPU's dead. This kind of sucks if that's the case. I'll try a different adapter, but this adapter I've found has been consistently very good at producing dependable results. I'll just double check my orientations. So basically, flat side goes... curve goes to the CPU side. Okay. Well, that's what I had. curve to CPU. Used to have a business partner who would open CD drives and adjust the variable resistor, adjust the laser while it was running. On computer ones or audio ones? I know on audio ones we used to have to trim it like that. Yeah, not exactly a brilliant idea. Of course, it got worse once we got what do you call it? Blu-ray. Need to replace the Thunderbolt component. Was that this? That was the other board that were tickled off, wasn't it? Or is it this one? Was it this board? Oh, oops. I'll laugh if it was this one. Wasn't sure whether it was this one or the other one. I guess we'll have a look. Let's see. Oh shit. It was this one. Damn it. Alright, looks like Paul's staying up a little bit longer. Oops. Yeah, they'll explain it. Maybe. The worst thing about these particular chips is that they really do want their balls. You can't just slap these ones down so easily. Yeah, that doesn't look too healthy. Well, to be fair, the other one was smashed, but yeah. Depending on how this one lifts up, we may or may not need to manually reball it. We'll see. It's holding on. I don't think I'm going to be able to. We'll give it a whirl. Sitting pretty damn close to the board, but hopefully it's got enough. Once again, just waiting for the cool off. Let this be a lesson to people that, yeah, doing these sort of jobs late at night is not the best idea. You will make mistakes. You will tax yourself. So, what did I say? So curve or flat to the CPU? Damn it. Curve to the CPU. Alright. Let's see if we have a better run this time. Oh, yep, it's working. It'll take a while before it comes up that Apple logo, but it is working. Because right now it's looking for its actual proper boot drive. Come on, give me the Apple logo. Hey, there we go. For some reason I really thought it was the previous board that unlocked that Thunderbolt power switch from. Obviously not. Do you think an Apple display will work now? I don't think so, no. I think what the problem is, I've either got a mismatch in the EDIDs or a blown backlight in those screens. You know, they're not known good working screens, and like I said, the 1502s, they are particularly fickle about what year of screen you connect them up to. Okay, see you, Textralian. At least this one doesn't have a whopping great big hole through it. Okay, it's very slow to boot at the moment because it's got no battery. These do not like not having a battery. Every sensor is missing pretty much, so it's going to take a while to boot. It's got no fan. You know, it's an unhappy board. You don't think we should blow this one up, Jason? Ah, alright, okay. As you wish. Well, we did at least use the lightning struck one for a couple of parts, so that was good. Came in handy. There we go. And you'll recognise that's my usual boot screen off the stick, so it's all good. We got to win. Alright, I'm out of here. You'll take care of yourselves. I'll see you tomorrow probably. Till then, catch you later.